All rise for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the work session, March 25th. Public comment. We have 3 minutes. Yeah, you're up first, Susan. So I was just going to wait until they're there. Wait. Okay. No, Susan Stevenson's going to speak. Come on up.
My name is Susan Stevenson, 84 Toilsome Lane in the Village. At a recent meeting, someone else, Francis Genovese, brought up the usefulness of the Village Law 116-6.1, which is the multifamily planned residential development district, which allows increased density if the development is within a half mile, either as the crow flies or walking, who knows. And I wondered if, first, if we actually need increased density, rules for increased density at this point in Southampton Village, considering how dense it has become since this law was enacted, I believe, in 1990. I'm not sure. At one meeting, they said it had never been used, but someone else said that George Submergent used it in the back by the Cooper's Farm, the library. I don't know. I didn't know where to look that up. But is there any way to actually take a look at a law that may or may not be advantageous to have on the books anymore?
Yeah, we've had discussions on that, so we're going to have discussions around that in the future.
I know, but okay, but things are happening so that, you know, at the minute, I just think time is wasting in a sense in terms of the density. But okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Anyone else from the public would like to speak? Okay, we're going to close this that public comment section at the board presentation save committee here.
Your technical issues that we're struggling with. So,
Well, the assistant will get it worked out.
but while Roger's loading on our presentation, we're here to.
There's a shade. Sorry, there's a shade in the front over the lens. Oh, it's open already. So okay. Thanks. There it is. Okay. Great. Thanks,
So,
Brenda.
see if we can get this up and running. In any case, as you know, we were upstate in the end of the year to receive New York State Environmental Excellence Award. Eight were awarded this year. It was the 10th anniversary of the New York State competition, and we certainly did not expect to be even finalists, nevertheless winners. So we've brought home the 2013 award plaque, which is here, New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, Southampton Advocates for the Village Environment, and then the award itself. So that's for you folks to display prominently, hopefully, in the village. And one of the things that Can we do it, Raj?
I'm ready to go, but
Okay. We are hoping that one of the things we could do tonight is share with you. One of the things we were required to do as recipients was a PowerPoint presentation to the entire collection of winners and also past winners and sponsors. And unfortunately, I'm not sure that our AV is all up and running. What do you think? Oh, there we go. And so what we'd like to do is share with you our PowerPoint. Our PowerPoint presentation that we gave
Actually, push it in.
the other way, I think. Yeah, pull
The other
this.
way.
No, that makes
the
it,
screen has to come in.
Yeah, we want to make it a little smaller.
There you go.
There we go. There we go.
Smart bunch we got. Smart bunch we got.
Let's pull you up a chair.
Good problem solvers.
Good problem solvers. Look at that teamwork.
Okay, here we go. So, I'm gonna need a little bit of light.
How's that?
So, Save is thrilled and honored to share, this is what we presented there. Thrilled and honored to share our David versus Goliath story with you. Save mobilized to adjust an aspect of our village's behavior to better protect our fragile environment and inspire change that has rippled far beyond our borders. Let's begin our story. Single-use plastic checkout bags are an example of unintended consequences.
Is this autofocus?
It's fine. It's fine, Rush. Clean your glasses there, bud.
It's a little out of focus. There you go.
that's better.
That's focus.
See, you cleaned your glasses. Good job.
There you go.
Good job.
Okay, single-use plastic checkout bags I'm on to slide 2. Single-use plastic checkout bags are an example of unintended consequences. Created in the 70s as a cheap and easy bagging solution, they've resulted in monumental environmental problem. Single-use plastic bags contaminate the air, the land, and the water of our planet, and threaten marine dwellers everywhere. The world has taken notice, and in an effort to change behavior, is a global desire. The question is how best to accomplish this. We think globally, but we act locally. Save widely researched our target issue, single-use plastic checkout bags. We located a community in nearby Westport, visited with their sustainability committee, and learned from their experience. We carefully built an action plan. Our aim was to enlist support from as many stakeholders as possible from the very beginning, using ourselves as personal ambassadors. This would turn out to be a crucial decision. Let's take a look at our process. 2 steps occurred concurrently: draft a proposed law and enlist support. Our research demonstrated that voluntary compliance does not work, and therefore we drafted a law that was simple, short, clear, and direct. Penalties can be significant to emphasize that the village is serious about the issue. Copies of the law are available on our website, Southampton Village website. We identified the stakeholders we needed to both educate and enlist in our campaign. Our plan required engaging everyone in our effort to change our behavior. The problem is clear. Single-use plastic checkout bags are a real environmental problem, especially for our village, a fragile waterfront ecosystem. The solution is straightforward. Bring your own reusable bag. We took this message on the road. An educated community would become our best asset in this campaign. We visited almost every business and talked one-on-one with our legislators before formally proposing the law. We reached out to environmental, educational, and service groups to inform them and to encourage their support. Our most pleasant surprise was a positive, supportive response we got from many businesses who actually donated their logo bags for free distribution. However, Goliath did lurk beyond our borders. At the public hearings in front of our mayor and trustees, and with the supporters in audience, opponents arrived from outside our village. These were professional paid lobbyists who denied the pollution problem these single-use plastic checkout bags create. Despite their opposition at 2 hearings, the legislation passed. SAVE members personally delivered a copy of the law to every merchant and spent time explaining it. On the effective date, we stood outside Walbaum's, Rite Aid, and CVS and distributed free reusable bags to shoppers. We screened a film, Bag It, at our library for residents and guests, and followed it with a Q&A opportunity. Community reception was enthusiastic and encouraging. We creatively partnered with our local schools in a dynamic and compelling challenge. Working with teachers at our 5 schools, K through 12, we presented the task to the students. Design a logo that delivers our message, and 6 local arts professionals judged from over 600 submissions. The winning logo was imprinted on 1,000 reusable shopping bags that were then distributed free to the community. Southampton Cultural Center hosted a week-long display of the finalists' artwork. On Earth Day 2012, the mayor and trustees presented awards. The enthusiasm, pride, and spirit this project engendered was astounding. Take a look at the faces. They tell the priceless story. Compliance has been nearly universal, with only one takeout restaurant consistently ignoring the law's requirements. After 2 visits and reminders about penalties, they fell in line. No summonses have been issued to date. The impact of our campaign is obvious. Our village of 4,000 year-round residents, which swells to over 20,000 seasonally, is visually cleaner. No bags in trees or parking lots, in dunes or ponds. We have removed hundreds of thousands of these plastic bags from our waste stream. Our students explain to grown-ups the benefit of toting reusable bags. Our community has become far more sensitive to the issues that compromise our environment. And the influence of our law extends beyond the checkout counter. Our community's grassroots support has been infectious. We are proud to have helped other communities in their efforts, both within and outside of the state. With a yearly budget of $750, 5 volunteers in the village of Southampton collaborated to make effective environmental change happen. Today, communities across our state and beyond are following in our footsteps. As a result of SAVE's actions, our village environment enjoys a bit more protection, and we, its advocates, can be proud of our stewardship. So we thank you, people, for support. Obviously, you made it happen with the legislation. And just today, the Post reported that New York City plans to charge 10 cents a bag, whether it's plastic or paper, at the checkout, to encourage people to use reusable bags. So we were in the vanguard. I think you should all pat yourselves on the back for being willing to take a pretty aggressive and worthwhile step. So here are the rewards.
Well, we'll all come down. We'll all come down.
Why don't you represent the team?
Okay, we'll all go. Let's get a team photo
That's
of everybody.
Right.
All right.
Makes it.
Rich is our representative.
Yes, and
And Nancy was
Nancy as well.
big part of
These
this.
were
Was
two of our
was Jim?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, Jim.
Right.
Bet you were on the board at the time. Get up
You wanna come over?
Oh, sorry. Rich, you can hold that.
Can we all get to face the
the music.
Here we go.
The camera, as it were.
Hey.
Good.
More?
I can't really see you guys.
Okay.
Let's get
I'm
in.
sorry, Roger, you and I can.
Oh, they put us two lightweights on the
Much
end.
better.
Better?
Oh,
Good.
thank you.
There you go.
All right.
Play them in, with pride. Commander.
Yes, one of our members isn't here, Linda
Yeah.
Stabler-Talty.
Yes.
She's away for today, unfortunately. Thanks so much.
Well,
You know,
glad
we-
you guys finally got to do the presentation
Yeah.
with all the different snowstorms. You kept being late like 3, 4
And
times.
today,
And another one, that's
you
why you
know.
keep bringing the storms. This is great.
Well, just on behalf of the village of
They shouldn't have put
Southampton,
in
I
village.
just want to thank the
Punch.
SAVE Committee and Roger and Susan and Mackie and Jim and Linda, who's not here, for doing this. I mean, it's, you know, you said pat us on the back. No, we pat you guys on the back. And this was a very easy project for us to get behind. And all you have to do is drive up and down our streets, walk our beaches, and compare it to what it was 3 or 4 years ago. And look at the trees, and you realize that it was one of those, when we did it, you didn't really realize how much we were actually missing until you consciously walked around and realized the difference that you guys made. So, thank you guys. And
Thank
we
you.
really appreciate that. So, hopefully other municipalities will jump on board and.
They are.
Yeah,
I think
every
it's-
city,
it's,
city of
it's
Chicago
gonna
and.
Chicago, yes.
Yeah.
all this stuff,
We were-
so-
And all of almost
We're
all of
behind their
LA
plan.
County, I mean,
It's all-
LA did it.
it's all
so-
great.
Why?
And the goal was to use reusable
Entire
bags.
state.
so-
Yes.
And that's what's being used.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, who was it, Steve? We were in Village Hall, was it last week? And shop order came in to show his bag to
Right.
us to make sure he was,
Village Cheese Shop, yeah,
make
they-
sure he was
they were given a
compliant
new
with it.
Right.
So-
large shopping bag.
That's clear how much of an
Love a lot.
impact it made, because he didn't want to do it without.
So otherwise we
This
come
is,
and bother them.
Yeah.
This is the top honor in New York State. This is our annual environmental award, and many people apply, not everybody gets it. So they like the way that they like our outreach as well as what we did locally. They like the fact we're helping so many other communities. And that's one thing they look for. It's how what you do can influence the actions of others. So, well, it started out very little in a small village of 6 square miles, less. That's really been spread around,
Yeah.
thanks to legislation which you passed. We thank you very much.
You guys did a great job.
And
So,
you've always been great supporters, so
Yes.
that's why we do say thank you, Charlie.
You guys did
The
all the
most
work, so.
precious thing that we have is our environment.
That's true.
It's the one thing we pass down to our kids generation after generation. If we don't take care of it, and we don't improve on it, who knows what we're gonna hand over to our grandchildren and great-grandchildren, so.
And what our
thank you guys.
reputations as stewards
Yes,
are.
that's right.
One of the most convincing things I say when I go on the road to promote this is that when we were scouts and only about this big, one of the things they always taught us was to leave your campsite in the same or better condition than what you found it.
Yes.
And we ask councils like this and the villages and towns to think about that when they're considering this legislation. And we've gone from, a nose count of barely enough votes to pass it to unanimous. And that's made a big difference. And I think it's the awareness.
I do too. All you have to do is watch that movie, The Bag.
Yeah,
Bag, yeah.
so there you go, it's all yours taken care of. Our pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you. A lot for doing this. Thanks.
Hey, Rick, they moved that screen back,
Yeah,
so you
so-
can't sleep over there.
I noticed that. I saw you guys was coming this way instead of moving the screen that way.
Well, you were trying to get them to move the screen that way.
Let's get the curtain.
All right, great, thanks. Okay, communications to the board.
Okay, item 1 from Southampton Fresh Air Home. Southampton Fresh Air Home is once again requesting assistance from the Village of Southampton with our fundraiser scheduled for Friday, July 4th, rain date Sunday, July 6th at 10:30 Meadow Lane. The support of the village in the past has enabled us to continue to host this event, which raises approximately 40% of our annual operating revenue. All of us at the SFAH appreciate the help of your office, as well as the assistance of the police and fire departments. We respectfully ask for a parking exception on the north side of Meadow Lane for the evening of the event. The home has hired TNT Valet Services, Rick Taylor, to park vehicles of guests and vendors that come to the event. SFAH has a clear understanding of the necessity of keeping the south side of Meadow Lane free and clear of parked cars, and our guests will be informed that traffic rules will be enforced. It would also be helpful if your office could issue a half-dozen permits for parking that day of the event for vendors and staff who are setting up and loading in the event. We once again ask permission to collect donations at Cooper's Beach as a way of contributing to the cost of the Gucci Fireworks National Display that we sponsor for the benefit of our physically challenged children that come to the home every year. Over the past several years, with the assistance of the village, we have been successful in raising money by asking for voluntary contributions from spectators who gather at Cooper's Beach to enjoy the fireworks display. Many thanks for your help, Thomas Narrow.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the Southampton Fresh Air Home to hold their annual fireworks event in accordance with their letter dated March 20th, 2014.
A second?
Second?
All in favor?
Yeah, this, the one thing is, when they do this fireworks on July 4th, actually, the cost of it is significantly higher than when it is on a different day. So people should remember that and make contributions, because it plays a big role in our community.
That's right.
So.
We have 2 from the Southampton Public Schools. Each year, the Special Olympics of New York coordinates with local schools to host the spring games involving athletes of various ages to compete in track and field events. The mission of Special Olympics is to provide year-end sports training and athletic competition in a variety of Olympic-style sports for all children and adults with intellectual disabilities, giving them continuing opportunities to develop physical fitness, demonstrate courage, experience joy, and participate in the sharing of skills and friendship with their families, Special Olympic athletes, and the community. Through their participation in Special Olympics, New York athletes gain confidence and build a positive self-image which carries into the classroom, the home, the workplace, and the community. This year, Southampton High School is very fortunate to have the opportunity to host the Special Olympics Spring Games South on Sunday, May 18th, 2014. This wonderful event has the potential to bring anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people to Southampton High School. This projection includes volunteers, athletes, coaches, and spectators. As we plan for this event, we realize that these numbers exceed the amount of parking we have at our schools. We ask that all parking restrictions, hourly parking on Narrow Lane, be suspended for the duration of the event also, as we will be coordinating parking there as well. The event is expected to last from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. On behalf of our volunteers, I would like to thank you and the entire village for your support as we host this great event. Thank you for your consideration and assistance, Matt Shimkus. They originally asked for use of the Downs Family Park, but there's a conflict there with the soccer game, so Brenda spoke to Esther Pastor, and they're going to use the building on the corner there, so they're just looking for a lifting of the narrow lane restrictions here.
Great. Okay. So I make a motion, we modify the parking restrictions, lift the parking restrictions in accordance for the Special Olympics event on May 18th in accordance with their letter dated March 24th, 2014.
Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Your second request is, obviously they're hosting the Olympics on that, and they're requesting use of the showmobile from Saturday, May 17th through Monday, May 19th, as there will be a great deal of work to be completed before and after the program. We anticipate several hundred special needs athletes and families participating in this event. We are seeking many donations to help make this event a success. Please let me know if there are any fees associated with the showmobile so we can plan accordingly. Thank you for your consideration. Brian Zahn.
With the showmobile, it's, we have to put our people out on overtime to do it, so
Yeah,
probably should look at the cost. I don't have a problem with that, but we should look at the cost of doing that. So and tell them what those numbers. Let's just.
Okay.
So
you can hold on that and get a dollar
why
value.
don't we do that and then let them know what the dollar value is, and then we'll bring this back to the next meeting.
Okay. And the last one is from EJ Autism. Our organization is seeking approval from the Village of Southampton to allow us to host our 6th walking relay from East Islip to Montauk. Our event takes place on May 17th and has walkers traveling on Montauk Highway towards Montauk. The purpose of our event is to raise autism awareness and raise funds that support autism programs on Long Island. The money we raise will be divided among Islip, Brookhaven, South, and East Hampton townships to programs that specifically work with children diagnosed with autism. Last year, we supported Flying Point Foundation for Autism Long Island Communities of Practice, East Islip School District, and the Brookhaven Learning Center. Our relay goes from town to town, school district to school district along Montauk Highway. The walk will begin in East Islip at 5 a.m. and will end at Montauk Lighthouse 7 p.m. on the 18th. For our participants' safety, walkers are required to follow the rules of the road. Each participant is responsible for his or her own transportation home. We welcome police involvement as we have done in the past, and a race is ensured. Each participant will be required to sign a waiver that includes, but is not limited to, protecting all of the townships, police, and fire departments, as well as EJ Autism. A walking relay like this provides wonderful visibility for raising autism awareness, and the proceeds stay on Long Island. Our event is small but meaningful and certainly not obtrusive. Sincerely, they host Peterson.
Okay. When you're actually asking us to let people walk through the village of Southampton, so
It's a tough one.
that's a tough one, yeah. So, I mean, I'll make a motion to support the walk-run event of EJ Autism in accordance with their application.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
How many participants do they say there? Five? Oh, 5 people? Oh,
And
the application.
Do you want to change your vote?
I was wondering, 5, wow. I was expecting hundreds.
no, when I saw East Islip to Montauk Lighthouse, I thought there's not
Yeah,
many
how many
people that are
people
going
will
to do
do
this.
that?
Especially 2
Right.
days.
It started at
Amazing it's
5
5.
a.m. in the morning,
Right.
because I wouldn't be one of them, so,
A week later.
Exactly.
Use a segue.
that's all right.
All right, resolutions, item 1, resolve that the reading of the minutes for the public session of March 13th, 2014 be dispensed with, and those minutes be accepted as filed by the village administrator. The actions taken at that meeting be and hereby are ratified and approved. Have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 2, resolve that the claims for the warrants dated March 25th, 2014 totaling $496,980.37, warrant 13 general fund, $4,000 warrant 10 capital reserve fund, $1,006.25 warrant 4 firehouse bond fund, $6,504.59 warrant 20 trust fund, and the village payroll for the period ending March 20th, 2014 be ordered and approved. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion. Item 1 on 71 Hill Street, April rent to the building inspector, $4,774. Bellringer Communications, camera repair at Agawam Park, $1,630. Broad Marketing, spring newsletter, $4,721.44. Page 2, capital reserve transfer, $58,230. Coastal Fire Systems, tank frame for the fire truck, $2,063.71. Creative Visuals, sign supplies for the Highway Department, $8,531.98. Page 4, Hunter Insulation, insulation on the second floor of Village Hall, $1,000. Johnson Electrical Construction, traffic signal maintenance for March, $1,201.19. Page 5, Lifeguard Systems, ice rescue sled for the fire department, $2,251.30. Metropolitan Data Solutions, ID camera and software for the fire department, $2,061. Motorola Solutions, ambulance pages, $2,899.20. Nassau Diagnostics, physicals for the fire department, $10,500. National Grid heating bill, $3,602.89 for the building department. National Grid for the fire department, $1,097.91. A bunch of payments to Nelson Pope and Voorhees, all for environmental services, $1,292.50, $4,015, $2282.50, $1,650, $4,427.50, $2,447.50, $9,705, $2,953.66, $2,182.50, $1,867.50, $1,474.91. We're on page 7, $1,732.17, and $2,535. Chick was a little bit remiss in billing for quite a while.
And these are all for applications, and all the the applicants reimburse the village for
Right.
this. Just wanted to make sure everybody knew that when there's, you know, several $1,000s
Exactly.
worth of,
We have a
yeah.
Nelson.
April insurance premium for health insurance, $236,480.57. Page 8, Tara Oliver, reimbursement for New York City clerk and judge training, $1,075.42. Pine Barrens printing, beach permits, $6,918.68, and $1,809 for 4x4 permits. Page 9, postmaster, mailing for the spring newsletter, $2,907.25. PSE&G, street lightings and building lighting expenses, $3,147.11. Rapid recovery, towing services for February, $1,050. Page 11, Michael Solomon, reimbursement for expenses, $1,114.92 for training. Suffolk County National Bank, bond payment, principal of $31,000 and interest of $1,371.75. Page 12, Vince Toomey, legal fees for February, $2,628.95. Trias Inc., vacuum truck parts for the garage, $1,745.89. Page 13, United Natural Energy, 3,000 gallons of gasoline, $87.36.87. VHB Engineering with final payment for the Safe Routes to School grant, $1,923.58. W&G Services maintenance contract for the HVAC at the Hampton Road Firehouse, $4,900. And Wainscott Sand and Gravel disposal fees for the Highway Department, $13,923.64. Next warrant is a capital reserve warrant, payment to Watermill Floor Sanding for refinishing the floors at Hampton Road Firehouse, $4,000. Next warrant is the firehouse bond, and final payment to the engineer on the project, $1,625. And the last warrant is a trust warrant, payment to Marion McCormick, $2,145.67, and Gregory Mensch, $4,358.92, both tax sale redemptions. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 3, resolve the Board of Trustees hereby approves the attached schedule of budget transfers to remain overages for the period March 14th, 2014 to March 25th, 2014. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Discussion. Item 1, $10,000 into fire contractual coming from fire equipment. Item 2, $5,000 in clerk supplies coming from clerk contractual. Item 3, $5,000 to legal contractual from trustee special projects. Item 4, $2,000 into building supplies, $3,000 into buildings utilities, $4,000 into buildings contractual, with $4,000 coming from building clothing and $5,000 from highway supplies. Next item is $5,000 to highway seasonal, $500 into highway clothing, coming from highway personal services, $5,500. And the last item is $2,000 into zoning contractual, $13,000 to planning contractual, with $15,000 from trustee special projects. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 4, resolve that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following budget adjustment for the fiscal year ending May 31st, 2014. The increase in miscellaneous refund, $24,000, and increase in capital reserve, $24,000. Have a motion, please?
Make that motion.
Second? What this is about, when we did the AEDs for the ambulance department, they had a rebate of $24,000 coming back for the trade-ins that they put in. And so what this is this, we're just adjusting both periods because obviously I can't make that payment net. It has to be grossed up, so I'm raising both sides of the equation to adjust for that.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
CPA.
And the last one is resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following payment from the capital reserve accounts, subject to permissive referendum. Watermill floor sanding, $4,000 from the fire facilities reserve. Have a motion?
Make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion items, we have a request from the Southampton Artists Association to do their annual Art and Park event at Agawam, Saturday, July 19th, and Sunday, July 20th, with the additional date of Friday, July 18th, as a setup.
Yeah, it's always a nice thing.
Nice thing.
So I'll make a motion to authorize the Southampton Artists Association to hold their annual Art in the Park on Saturday, July 19th, and Sunday, July 20th, in accordance with the email.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next thing, I had a brief discussion with Rick on this. Typically, we have our first meeting of the month is called a public session, and then the second meeting of the month called a work session. And there's been a lot of confusion with that because a lot of the public feels that they're not allowed to attend the work session. So I was just curious if we should consider, one, is there a reason for keeping it entitled a work session, or change both to a public meeting? Because it does cause some confusion.
Does
out
it
there.
really? People actually,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I think at one point I could say that, but even now, they really still think they can't.
Yeah.
Well, change it.
I don't know, Rick,
So
what
does
do
that mean
you?
we change it to 6
is there-
o'clock?
We treat
instead
them
of
both
5?
as, I
Right.
mean, practice procedure, they're both regular meetings. So I don't see any reason not to change the name.
Yeah.
Sometimes the public is confused, because sometimes a work session it doesn't mean it for us.
Right.
There are some other boards that just.
But
mean
sometimes a
whatever.
work session means it's for the board members, and the public is not allowed, they can watch, but they're not allowed to participate. So if you change the name of it, that would eliminate any confusion.
Yeah, I personally have no problem changing the name of the work session, or just a public meeting, Board of Trustees or something.
Yeah, it's just,
Is that a
I think
motion?
it'll,
What's that?
Is that a motion?
I'll make that a motion.
I'll second
Do we
it.
have to set out a contest for a name change? What are we gonna call it?
Let's get the Save Committee in here. They did a great
Yeah.
job on the bag. We'll get
I
them.
second
Yeah.
it.
all in favor?
I asked-
Aye.
I asked
Two items that with regard to,
maybe.
No, leave it the same. Sorry. She asked about the time change. I think we'll leave it.
yeah, I think it'll be
No,
fine.
time's
So
the same.
6 is one and 5 is the other.
Right.
Time will stay the same.
Danielle asked me to bring this up. While we did not do the tax sale, well, we did the tax sale, but we purchased all the liens this year. In future years, it's come up with other villages whereby people will send a representative for them, okay? But what that would do is that if I'm representing Nancy and Bill, and we do what we call a roulette chip situation, I would get 3 sets of chips, and it takes away from the rest of the people that are attending in order to,
Right.
participate. So she would like to just initiate that discussion, whether we should limit anybody that wants to participate in tax sale must be personally present, rather than sending, or supposedly representing somebody else that is not attending.
I don't know legally what the rules. Maybe we need to reach out to NICOM on that. Or
I
can we-
don't think it's a problem, because other villages have been limiting it
Done
to physical
Okay.
presence, but I can double check with NICOM on that.
Just see if there's legislation from someone else that.
Okay.
We'll get that to Rick, and we'll.
So we have to do a change.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And the last item is the digital tax roll, with regard to, we're having a lot of requests from people picking up copies of the tax roll, and it's really coming from retail operations that are, basically using it for mailing lists and such. The town charges $3 to do it. Obviously, it's a minimal cost. We have charged $50 for it, and she's just questioning whether we want to raise that fee to restrict the amount of people coming in to purchase that, to use it for mailing lists.
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, how do you guys feel about that?
I think you can raise it. I mean, the town is $3. That's what they
You
charge
need to
us,
keep one
$3.
thing in mind, this is not allowed, relates to FOIL,
Right.
and so this is not allowed to be a money-making operation.
Yeah.
The fee is supposed to reflect your actual cost.
How many sheets of paper are involved?
It's actually just a diskette, so it's a minimal cost. I mean, what we do with the videos is 20, from Charlie, it's $25 a copy.
Right.
On a diskette.
Yeah, CD.
VHS.
What's the penalty if you make a few bucks?
Profit.
Go behind the screen.
I was gonna say,
For a little higher
no more sitting in the corner,
Yeah, I mean, you're right, it's supposed to cover just the cost of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we
Leave it
should
at 50?
change,
Okay.
mess around with that price.
You got it.
Right from the cost with the disc and Danielle's time to generate it,
Probably fair at 50.
probably a fair number.
Okay. All right, that's what I have.
Okay, comments from board members here? Trustee Yaz?
I'm good.
Trustee Irving?
Well, last meeting I mentioned that we were going to try to put together a meeting to discuss the sewer district in the village of Southampton, and so far we've done a pretty good job, and there'll be a meeting on April 4th, April 3rd, excuse me. And I would really encourage anybody in the business district to come. There will be, in the presentation, 2 engineer companies, so you can discuss different modes of wastewater treatment, and also a number of representatives from Suffolk County Department of Health, and Suffolk County will be present to discuss setting up a district. So it's a beginning, important meeting, and certainly something that will benefit the business district. And I'd encourage all the businesses, whether they're retail or restaurants, to come and partake. It's
What time
really-
is it and where is it? Did you
No,
already say
it's-
that?
I'll have to
It's
double check.
It's Village Hall. It's
It's
5
Village Hall,
o'clock. It's
5
the-
o'clock.
It's the Planning Commission.
Commission meeting, right?
Regular,
Oh, okay.
regular meeting. I wondered if we should be doing
Send us
this
a reminder.
at the cultural center or something.
Well, we should probably consider that, because hopefully we'll get quite
Yeah.
a group.
I don't think we'll have enough room here to pack, you know.
Yeah,
We said,
good thought.
so,
Is there a PowerPoint involved also, do you know, or?
I don't believe so, but there may be.
Okay.
we want to
Check
talk to
availability.
Kirsten there and
Yep.
see if that availability.
I'll reach out to Paul Travis and see.
Okay.
So as of now, it's here still, or you make an announcement to
Yeah,
move, or
only-
what do you? Because that's only next week, so it's the last televised chance to do it.
Well, I don't know what the schedule is on that, so,
We can put
Well,
it
the cultural
online.
center's not far
Yeah.
away.
Yeah,
We
so you
certainly
leave it
can
here, and you always put a
sign.
note
Message
saying
on
go
the
around the
door.
on
corner.
the doors.
Yeah,
and
we
stuff,
posted it, you know, when we did the town hall meeting over there, we did one board meeting over there, we posted in the kiosk and the website and.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Doors,
until
so-
further notice, it's here as regularly scheduled.
Yeah.
Right.
I just, you know, because just talking to a couple of merchants around, I know that they're gonna be coming to this, so
Mhm.
just looking at the number of seats we had, so.
Yeah, it'd
And
be-
then, and knowing the volume of people that are been invited to present here too.
Would it be possible to get it on the website?
Sure, absolutely.
You know, we should pass a copy down to Steve.
Okay, yeah. Great,
They asked me to send it to Chamber.
okay,
And tell them.
Yep.
great,
So I do that already.
okay. So we will, so we'll check first thing in the morning
Sure.
with Kirsten about the date and
Yep.
time, and then Brenda, you can get it over, get it there. Just so she can get it out and then email blast, hopefully. So, that's good. Great. Nance?
You can talk about that, maybe.
Yeah.
Add that to your list. I'm not
Okay.
going to talk about it.
All
Okay.
right.
The one thing I wanted to mention, we've talked at this meeting before about pesticides and chemicals being used on lawns. And I emailed you and Michael this afternoon to say that I think it would be a really good project for SAVE to work on within the community. And I touched upon it lightly with Roger, and they're very interested in doing that. I think they can do all the research and reach other communities to see how they're handling it, and then make a recommendation to us. And I think that's really where it should go. So that's what we're going to do.
Great.
All right?
If you have, you know, I know this has been talked about before, and if you
Right.
have anything on it, I'm president of the little condo over there on Cooper's Neck, and we're about to embark on our season's contracts, and they gave me this long thing of spraying for everything
yeah,
but
don't do it.
ignorant people, and I really remembered somebody saying that dogs were badly affected, and
Yeah.
God knows, and I haven't seen a tick in the place. I mean, my dog brings the ticks home from elsewhere, you know.
Right.
But in any event, I'd love to just see that, because I frankly would like to.
Well, there are other
squelch.
companies that do greens. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, some of it maybe some of it's good, but I'd love to know the good and the
Right.
bad and the don'ts.
we might not know that right away, so you might as
Okay.
well go into the environmental companies. There are environmental companies before you sign a contract with one that isn't.
Okay.
That's what I would do. I'd look into that.
So it'd be much smarter to use an environmental spray there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I would go that route first and then do that a little investigating. As time goes on, I think this will be an educational process for everyone living in the community.
Do you have that letter, though, didn't we get a communication from one of the Cunninghams or something like
Tim,
this?
Yeah.
Tim Cunningham.
Regarding that, if you could put that in my box, I just, I'd like to tell whoever is proposing to do all this spraying, and there's about 7 different things there. And, it's a,
I mean, this past year, I took on a different landscaper than the one that I had, and
Yeah.
of course, they were gonna come in and do all this stuff, and I told them, I said, first of all, you have to tell me what you're putting down. I have a dog, I don't want anything other than, I don't want any poisons put down, and I don't want anything other that will hurt my dog and/or the environment. And so they researched it, and they did come up with something for me that was organic and fine, and that's what you have to ask for.
okay, if you would, though, just put something, whatever came up at that meeting, that letter that we got and so on, I'll pursue it then with our particular operation.
Okay.
The one thing that I was going to, I had spoken to Steve earlier today. Last year we talked about the decking down at Dune Beach and the fact that the dunes have kind of overwhelmed it, and the last 30 yards of the deck itself and so on. And of course, every time I talk to John or somebody about taking a shovel and at least clearing it off and maybe undermining it so that the deck is up out of the sand instead of perennially under 8 inches of wet sand all year round. In any event, it always, his response is always that the DEC won't let you have impure thoughts like that. And so that I was asking Steve, with your permission, to just have somebody from the DEC come on out and go down there and show us what we can do, because it's gotten shabby, and I'm not proposing to expand the deck or something, even though I personally
I'd
think
love
that
to.
it would be a great thing for the 6th graders to be able to go down there and have an ecological party for themselves in the springtime, because it is really it's such a different area. And it's kind of neat to see, and it would be nice to be able to accommodate them, but I don't want to be accused of trying to start a carnival or something like that in Atlantic City. But in any event, if you could set up a meeting just so we can come on out and find out what we can and can't do, and then we can resort to whatever language is necessary to get permission to do this. Okay? At least to clean it off. And other than that, I'd like to introduce a resolution that no more snow
Too late.
be ordered to the air. Other than
Effective tomorrow.
that,
Yeah, and so we've made great progress on the dog park. We've raised, like almost $75,000.
It's over, as of today, it's over.
Over $75,000 as
Oh,
of
that's
today.
great.
They're
So
doing.
some lucky dogs.
Let's see, very lucky dogs. And, they've done the excavation work for the parking area, the posts are up for the fence. The wooden fence is already installed up there. And they're moving along. So I know they're getting numbers for the sprinkler system and, and doing some planting of certain grasses that will be able to sustain the use up there, so it'll remain green. And but it's a great committee, and we're going to have they're working on a grand opening date, and it will be probably sometime in June, and it's going to be a great addition. So I know a lot of people were very excited about it, and a lot of people worked very hard, and Nancy's part of that committee, and we're very fortunate to have a great group of people that are stepping up here. So, but yeah, it's a good thing.
It's great.
Yeah. So
I think it's opening the beginning of June.
yeah. Okay. So, but it's a.
But there'll be more on that before
I'm sure.
it opens. Yeah.
I'm sure Zoe will let everybody know. There's no question in my mind about that,
Bells
so,
on.
yes, but I, it's
Gonna have a dog statue up there?
Yes.
Bring some fire hydrants.
got,
Stones.
some, they have wee stones, they call them, or river rocks or something like that, so, but it's
Well,
been
actually, there's
a,
going to be
hey,
a metal sculpture of a red dog. It's really great looking.
Yeah.
So that'll be
good.
fun.
Wee rocks, is that what you just said?
that's what I said, that's what they were calling it, man. That's a technical name on it.
Because we all know that's exactly what's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
That's right. So, okay, that being said, we're gonna go to the second public comment. Anyone from the public would like to make comment to the board? Okay. I'm gonna make a motion to, close the public hearing to go into executive session.
We don't
I know executive session. That's right. So, make a motion to close the, public,
Second?
session.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.